Good morning, students. I hope all of you are well, and it's the end of the week, so I'm sure you're excited. Before we begin today's class, I'm going to show you a short video of a story. I want you to pay attention, alright?
King Bruce of Scotland flung himself down in a lonely mood to think. 'Tis true he was monarch and wore a crown, but his heart was beginning to sink, for he had been trying to do a great deed to make his people glad. He had tried and tried, but couldn't succeed, so became quite sad. He flung himself down in low despair, as grieved as man could be, and after a while, as he pondered there, "I'll give it all up," said he. Now just at the moment a spider dropped with its silken cobweb clue, and the king, in the midst of his thinking, stopped to see what the spider would do. 'Twas a long way up to the ceiling dome, and it hung by a rope so fine that how it could get to its cobweb home King Bruce could not divine. It soon began to cling and crawl straight up with strong endeavour, but down it came with a slippery sprawl, as near to the ground as ever. Up it ran, not a second could stay to utter the least complaint, till it fell still lower, and there it lay, a little dizzy and faint. Its head grew steady, again it went, and travelled a half-yard higher. 'Twas a delicate thread it had to tread, and a road where its feet would tire. Again it fell and swung below, but again it quickly mounted, till up and down, now fast, now slow, 9 brave attempts were counted. "Sure," cried the king, "that foolish thing will strive no more to climb, when it toils so hard to reach and cling, and tumbles every time." But up the insect went once more. Ah me, 'tis an anxious minute. He's only a foot from his cobweb door. Oh say, will he lose or win it? Steadily, steadily, inch by inch, higher and higher he got, and a bold little run at the very last pinch put him into his native cot. "Bravo, bravo!" the king cried out. "All honour to those who try. The spider up there defied despair. He conquered, and why should not I?" And Bruce of Scotland braced his mind, and gossips tell the tale that he tried once more as he tried before, and that time he did not fail.
So, students, the video that you just watched was a story of King Bruce and the spider. And the message that we learned from that story is try till you succeed. There's a similar poem in your textbook, which we're going to do today, and it gives us a similar message about working hard. Today, we're going to do the poem, It Can Be Done. Children, there is no author mentioned for this poem, but the person whoever has written this has given us a very nice message. When there is no author mentioned, we say that the poet is anonymous. Alright, students, this is the poem. I'm going to read it. I want you to pay attention because I'm going to ask you some questions. It can be done. The man who misses all the fun is he who says it can't be done. In solemn pride, he stands aloof and greets each venture with reproof. Had he the power, he'd efface the history of the human race. We'd have no radio or motor cars, no streets lit by electric stars, no telegraph nor telephone. We'd linger in the age of stone. The world would sleep if things were run by men who say it can't be done. I hope you paid attention, students. There's a short question for you. List the things that we would not have if the world was run by those who say it can't be done. Let's see, we would not have radios, motor cars, no streets lit by electric stars, no telegraph or telephone. All right, students, who misses all the fun? Let's see. The man who says it can't be done is the one who misses all the fun. Why does he miss all the fun? Let's see. Someone who says it can't be done does not do anything, correct? Because he says it can't be done. So he or she is someone who is lazy. And when someone does not do anything, you are likely to get bored. And bored isn't fun at all. If you don't do anything, what happens? You feel bored. And there's no fun in being bored. That is why the person who says it can't be done is the person who misses all the fun. How does he stand? Let's see. In solemn pride, he stands aloof. So he stands in solemn pride and he stands aloof. Children, look at this GIF. Now I want you to identify a word that means looking very serious and feeling very important. Let's see. The word is solemn pride. So to stand in solemn pride means someone who looks very serious and thinks he's very great or she's very great and feels very important. Now look at that boy there. He's standing alone, away from everybody. Now I want you to identify a word from your poem which means separately or not being with others. Let's see. The word is aloof. To be aloof means to be away from everybody and everything else. How does he greet each venture? Let's look at our poem. He greets each venture with reproof. Students, now I want you to identify a word that means a negative comment or a correction. Let's look at our text. The word is reproof. A reproof is a negative comment or something that is said to correct someone. Children, now identify a word that means adventure or a difficult task. Let's see. The word is venture. A venture is a difficult task or an adventure. What would he do if he had the power? Let's see. If he had the power, he'd efface the history of the human race. Children, identify a word that means to wipe out. To wipe out something. Let's see. The word is efface. How do you think he would efface the history of the human race? So throughout the history of the world, different people have contributed by inventing different things, or they have shaped the world with their thoughts, with their ideas. You know, children, we've had the invention of different machines, different gadgets, our telephones, our mobile phones, our smartphones, computers, internet, laptop. All these things have been invented by someone. So for all these things, hard work is required. So for the person who says it can't be done, all these would be impossible. This person wouldn't be able to do any of this. And that's why the entire human race or entire history of whatever people have done so far would be erased, would be deleted, would be gone. Children, we've learned some new words today. These are some of the new words we've learned. There are some sentences here. We're going to see which word fits the sentences best, all right? Which is the right word to fill in the blanks. Let's look at the first one. The dash led them to the waterfall. Aloof, aloof means alone. Venture, what does venture mean? An adventure. So the adventure led them to the waterfall. Is that right? Let's see, yes. So the venture led them to the waterfall. Let's look at the next one. Johnny tried hard but could not dash the sugar stains. Definitely not venture now. Aloof, aloof means alone. Reproof, reproof is to say something negative. Is it efface? What does efface mean? Efface means to wipe out. So Johnny tried hard but could not wipe out the sugar stains. Is that right? Let's see. Yes. Johnny tried hard but could not efface the sugar stains. Let's look at the next one. Jack was angry and so he was dashed from the rest of his family. Aloof? Yes, aloof means alone or separated from everybody else. Every mistake should be followed by a dash if one wishes to learn. Reproof? What is the meaning of the word reproof? A reproof is a correction or something negative. A correction is always negative, right? Children, you may not like being corrected, but every correction is for our own good. The word is reproof. Every mistake should be followed by a reproof if one wishes to learn. Students, these were the first three stanzas that we've done, all right? Let us identify all the rhyming words now. Let's see. Fun, done, aloof, reproof, efface, race. These are all our rhyming words. Children, now in these first three stanzas that we have done, what is the poet trying to tell us? What is the main idea? What message is the poet trying to give us? The poet is talking about the man who says it can't be done, who is impossible. He's an impossible man. He's an unacceptable man. So can we say our main idea is the impossible man? Someone who's impossible is unacceptable. Someone who's impossible is someone who's not liked because of different reasons. Now, here this man is a lazy man. So we can say our main idea here is the impossible man. All right, students, now we're going to move ahead, okay? Tell me, what are the streets lit by? Let's see. The streets are lit by electric stars. Children, what are electric stars? What do you think are electric stars? Let us understand. You know that stars give us light, right? And the sun is the biggest star in our solar system. I'm sure you've learned this. So, you know, children, electric stars are our street lamps. They give us light and they run on electricity, right? In our homes also, we have electricity. So, children, there are different words for electric stars. The poet has used this word electric stars. That sounds nice, right? There are different words for the street lamps. Okay, they are called lamp post, lamp standard, street light, light pole. All these are different words for street lamps or street lights. Children, we just spoke about what? Street lamps. You know, there is an idiom which is called burning the midnight oil. What is an idiom? An idiom is a group of words that does not exactly mean what those words are. For example, we say spick and span, pin drop silence. What does spick and span mean? I want the house spick and span, Mama will say. What does it mean? It means clean. What is the meaning of pin drop silence? When teacher says, I want pin drop silence now. What does that mean? It means quiet, that even if a pin falls, you will be able to hear. So these are called idioms. So just like we say this idiom here, burning the midnight oil, means working, reading, or studying late in the night. There are many people who study late in the night, you know, children, because they're poor, because they don't have electricity in their houses. In fact, there have been many great people who've become great, but when they were younger, when they were studying, they used to study under the street light because they did not have the necessary luxuries and comforts. All right, one of them is our ex-president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Another is the ex-president of America, Abraham Lincoln. You know, children, when these people were ruling, they made their country very great. Abdul Kalam, he brought a lot of good changes in India. Same with Abraham Lincoln, he did a lot of good for America. Children, today we learn the idiom burning the midnight oil, which means working late in the night or studying late in the night. Children, you have telegraph mentioned in your textbook. What is a telegraph? A telegraph is very similar to a telephone. It was invented by Samuel Morse. This is Samuel Morse. And some other inventors, some other people also contributed. When was it invented? It was invented in somewhere between the 1830s and 1840s. See, look at this timeline, okay, children? Now we are in 2020. When was the telegraph invented? Somewhere between 1830 and 1840. Now, how does this telegraph work? It used to work by carrying electric signals between two places. An electric signal from one place goes to another. It is very similar to our mobile phones. We have mobile phones, right, these days? It is very similar. Now, children, while a telephone carried voice, a telegraph carried a written message. This was the first major invention of communication. Now we have so many things. We have smartphones, we have telephones, but this, a telegraph, was the very first invention. Children, in fact, the Morse code, there is something called a Morse code. Look at that, that is a Morse code. This Morse code was invented by Samuel Morse. Now, what is this Morse code? Basically, there are dots and dashes which stand for each letter. So when telegraph messages were sent, it was sent with these Morse code. There were letters written with dots and dashes. Children, in India, the first telegraph service started in 1850. Can you see? In 1850, the first telegraph service started in India. Until 2013, till 7 years ago, it was still available. But now, since we have mobile phones and we have other telephones, it was no longer necessary, and that's why the telegraph service was stopped very recently. Now, children, the telephone, I'm sure you know what's a telephone. But back when it was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, this is how a telephone looked. And when was it invented? It was invented in 1915. All right, children? The word tele, it is called a prefix because it comes before graph and before phone. What does tele mean? Tele means distant or transmission over a distance, correct? A telegraph also was used to send a message. A telephone was also used to send a message. And where? Over a distance. Now I'm sure there are other words also which you may have heard which start with tele. Television, telescope, correct? All these are used over a distance, correct? The television also, the signals come from somewhere far, not in your house, correct? So there are different other words that start with tele. All right, children, let's get back to our poem now. Where would we linger? We'd linger in the age of stone. Identify a word that means to last for a long time, to remain for a long time. The word is linger. To linger means to remain for a long time. Children, why would we linger in the age of stone? Let's see, okay? The age of stone was when people were just beginning to learn how to live, how to survive. There were no major inventions, no machines, no technology. So if the world was run by people who say it can't be done, people who are lazy, we would still be there with no progress, no inventions, no technology, nothing. There would be no progress of any kind, nothing that would make our life easier, and that's why we would still be in the age of stone. So, children, the age of stone was a particular period of time. Like that, there are different time periods. So, the Stone Age was when in the ancient period. Now we are in the modern period. After the ancient period was the medieval period. See, these are the different time periods: ancient, medieval, and now modern. So, children, there are different phrases that we use to refer to different periods of time. There is something called turn of the century. What is the meaning of turn of the century? A turn of the century is the ending of one century and the beginning of the next century. So we just had the turn of the century 20 years ago, from the 20th century to the 21st century. All right. So 20 years ago we moved, correct? From 1999, 2000, 2001. So we moved from the 20th century to the 21st century. What is a century? Not that cricket century, huh? Sachin Tendulkar scored a century, not that century. A century is a group of 100 years, okay? A century is a group of 100 years. So from 1901 to 2000 was one century. From 2001 to 3000 would be the next century. Children, how would the world be if things were run by men who say it can't be done? Let's look at our text. The world would sleep. The world would sleep if things were run by men who say it can't be done. Okay, children, in these last three stanzas, let us identify all the rhyming words. Let's see. Cars, stars, telephone, stone, run, done. Children, in these last three stanzas, what is the poet trying to tell us? What is the poet talking about? Talking about the progress, correct? Talking about the progress of people, talking about different inventions. So can we say our main idea is the inventions of the world? Correct? We have radios, motor cars, the street lamps, we have telegraphs, telephones. So many inventions are mentioned. So we can say our main idea here is inventions of the world. So students, today we saw how important it is to work hard in order to progress. Now, what could be our central idea from all the six stanzas that we did? What could be our central idea? I'll give you some options, okay? Let's see which is the most appropriate one. No shortcut to success, people's progress, the history of the world. What is the message that the poet is trying to give us? No shortcut to success. There is no shortcut. If you want to succeed, you have to work hard. That is our central idea. Now, children, what about the title of the poem? The title says it can be done. What does it mean? Is the title really important? Yes. The title tells us that everything can be done. Nothing is impossible. Alright, so our title is very, very appropriate for our poem. Children, look at this line. The world would sleep if things were run by men who say it can't be done. Only men? Only men have contributed to the progress of the world, children? No, there have been women also who've contributed. There are women who've done great work from social work. What is social work? Helping people, like people like Mother Teresa. So, from social work to writing to science to technology to medicine, women have also shown that they are as good as men, as equal to men. Children, tell me in what way can men and women be treated equally?
I'll treat men and women equally by not assigning them any particular duty according to their gender. Instead, I would consider both of them equal and both of them capable to do that particular work.
Equality between men and women can be promoted by providing equal opportunities to access education or to develop personal ambitions, interests, or talents. And also, sharing equal responsibilities at home can help promote gender equality.
In the office sectors, men and women can be given equal amount of pay according to the work that they do. And the work also should be distributed equally.
Thank you, students. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay, students, we're done for today. Before we close, there's a short assignment for you. I want you to write a short paragraph on the proverb, try till you succeed. A very short paragraph, all right? So that's it for today, children. Thank you, take care, and have a nice day.